What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Stochastic YouTube channel, coming to you with another DFS first look for the PGA. We're talking the Travelers Championship out there in good old Connecticut. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video and goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Speaking of the woods, there were, well, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. It's Tuesday. I'm ready to rock here if you are. And well, let's start with this. Out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? We're out of the woods now with this brand new players page for Rainmakers. Yes, if you have not checked out Rainmakers, it's NFTs meets DFS over at DraftKings.com. It's a beautiful union. Love it for the UFC streets. They're going to have it for the football streets here too. But this lovely players page doesn't matter if it's UFC or PGA or whatever you're looking for. Now you can group your players together by the game set that they have. So if they're going to be playing in the Travelers Championship or not, they'll be listed. And you can compare individual players. You can pick them specifically and say, hey, I want to look at Scheffler versus Rahm. That makes sense. All right, I can see what their cost is here. I can look at the fantasy points per game. I can look at all of their readily available stats here and see exactly what their floor price is, see kind of fantasy points per dollar over the last however many rounds over the course of this PGA Tour season it would be. You can do that for PGA Tour, UFC, and the NFL streets. Gonna be awesome stuff. They did a phenomenal job with this page. Give it a look over. Give it a look over. I think you'll really, really enjoy it here. You can, once again, group it by the individual tournament, get all of the riffraff out of there, people who aren't there, but look at these names. We have just about everybody there. And if you're playing Rainmakers this weekend, get that free pack. If you haven't signed up for Rainmakers, get that free pack in the video description box below. But if you are playing it, don't forget about our free Rainmakers projections over at Stochastic.com and look at these names. We got all the big guns in town: Scheffler, Rory, Rahm, Schauffele, Cantlay. These are going to be pretty close to what the corresponding sportsbook odds are. These are all DraftKings sportsbook odds that we can kind of use as reference points. Wyndham Clark, wild to see the ascent there coming off of US Open victory. I did not need that. That was probably the one guy I couldn't have play well in that 7K range that was popular. Fowler was also not good for. It was just bad in the 7K range. I tried to make pivots. Nobody that you pivoted to really came to fruition the way that Wyndham Clark at 11%, 12% in the millie. And then, Ricky Fowler, so over 20%, one of the most popular players on the slate. Him, Rory, Scotty Scheffler, all of them just punished. The chalk was vivid. It was just painful. So, US Open, there's your recap. Let's talk the Travelers. This is always one of my favorite tournaments, and now it's an elevated event, so we are getting the field to go with it. We're going to start with the PGA DFS lineup builder over at Stochastic, where we can go to contrarian lineups. We can look at all the different players. If you just want to be firing some lineups this week, don't want to put a whole lot of thought into it, save, fire a couple of up, boom, 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 20 of those puppies. We can export it to a CSV like so and have it set to go. Look at that. Craig Connor's one of my guys here for this week. Tom Kim. One round of golf does not a golfer make, but we will talk about Tom Kim's US Open performance on that Saturday, about all the other ins and outs of this slate, and then a couple of guys that I definitely am interested in that are popping up in this player exposures. So if you don't like somebody, you can delete that lineup. You can remove them like so, discard. You can add another one. There you would have 19 lineups. Great stuff by our development team. Check out the lineup generator. I believe it's like $5, less than $5 to try it out with a promo code in that video description box below. If you just want to fire some lineups and not think too much about it, we have the best data team. They're going to be the ones who help you. And then the Sims tool. Oh, yeah, we got the Sims tool too, baby. I'm not going to be pulling that one up because, well, it's fancy. It does what it's supposed to do. Helps you be able to group it, sort the way that top players have been doing forever and ever and ever. So whichever end of the spectrum you're on, somebody who wants to have a lot of control over their lineups using the data and tools at Stochastic, or somebody who just wants to plug and play here with the lineup generator, there is something for you down there. Take advantage of it, friends. Ready to rock? TBC River Highlands. Let's get to the top golfers tool. And then, of course, I round out this program building my single entry lineup with you. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. But per usual, we start up with the expensive dogs. And, Scotty Scheffler. there's positive leverage. His optimal percentages are just out of this world. Now, we have a little bit, it's not a bug, it's just that it's Tuesday and Tuesday afternoon. Everything doesn't need to be perfect and tight here yet, but he is about perfectly flat owned, 16.5%. Some of these zeros, I'll explain why. Matt Fitzpatrick, perfectly owned. Max Homa, perfectly owned. We have a couple of things that need to get sorted out there. Very curious to see where Jon Rahm's ownership comes in at. If he's going to be 16.5%, I think this is definitely somebody that I'm going to be pivoting to. And then Rory, is he really going to go completely underlooked now that he's back up to 10-9, that he's now looked at as one of the more elite players in this field? He continues to gain strokes in every single facet of his game. Nice to see him focus there at the US Open, firing things up with the approach, 5.3 strokes gained approach here. That's going to matter big time at TPC River Highlands, where it's not a long golf course. We're talking sub 7,000 yards, but you're going to be hitting a lot of irons, and you are going to need to be scoring. I think with this level of a field, they've had Bubba Watson, Xander Schauffele, the defending champion. They've had good players come through here. We're talking Bubba Watson, not shitty Bubba Watson now, like the really good version, however long ago he used to own this place. Wild, bombers don't necessarily, it's never a bad thing to hit it far, we'll put it that way. But you're seeing guys that, I don't know, you're going to have to score. This is the best field we've had by a landslide. And now with Schauffele in this 10K range, Cantlay in this 10K range, Rahm, Rory, Scheffler, gonna have to get it right. It's a very tough range. And last week, if you pivoted to Rahm, even though he finished 10th, it hurt. Scotty and Rory both beat him up here. I'm just assuming Rahm's ownership is going to come down. He is the number 2 player in the world, and now Rory is more expensive. And part of why Rory was so popular was he was sub 10K. No longer, my friends, no longer. So that's going to be one that I'm paying very close attention to. In the old box score, you can see that, he's pretty good. 7th, 9th, 2nd. His demise was long over exaggerated. And now he's just back to being good, and people want to play him. So there you go. Guess not as much as the other guys in the range, which is very curious to me. I will play the ownership game. Happy to be playing Rahm. Of course, Scotty Scheffler's like on another planet. It's just so dumb. He did game with the putter last week. That was good to see. How does T5, T2, T3, 3? The best players in the world are just so damn good these days. And now they're all playing really solid golf. One major left to go, then the FedEx Cup playoffs to play for infinity dollars. Nice little life if you can get it. Nice little gig. But we continue on our merry way, and this is kind of the 9K range where I think it's going to fall off a cliff, and that is exactly what we're seeing in terms of ownership. Everybody wants to get to these players because they are so consistent. What about Victor Hovland? Did we not just see him win at the Memorial with the same exact type field? I think we did. One of the best iron players that there is. The one thing I do get worried about is there's a small bit of correlation with short game play, and just it can be a difficult place to get up and down from. I'm going to get out of the Rainmaker stuff, although you definitely want to get that free pack. Victor Hovland, in terms of strokes gain data, we know that he's not going to ever be the best short game artist by any means, but he is 4th off the tee. It's a minimized stat here. 19th in strokes gain approach. You just got to stay out of that 4-inch, what is it? Kentucky Bluegrass, I think it is. Is that what it is? I got to double check. I'm going to go somewhere and double check here quick. Yeah, Bluegrass. Look at me go. Maybe not Kentucky version, but Bluegrass. I did read that correctly. I'm not a complete dunce cap. That's, all the time. Anyway, my favorite guy in the range is now the one getting the most ownership, or has the most positive leverage coming in there. My favorite guy by far is Colin Morikawa. I'm going to have so much of him. How about everybody saying, Eric, you're an idiot. I ended up jamming Colin Morikawa. Could have just played a little better when everybody else was shooting 62, Colin. Yeah, bending over and picking your tee up. Fine now, bro. Again, people just over-exaggerate about injuries. It was nice to see him in contention there, but just didn't make that run he needed to on Sunday. And yeah, they set it up a little bit more difficult. You just needed to take advantage of that first round. Everybody went low to some extent there. It was really frustrating. Even Wyndham Clark sitting there 9,200 now, 64 in that first round. Kind of important. But I digress. We're on to this week. And, in terms of optimal percentage, Colin Morikawa, your second most positively leveraged player in this field next to Rory. We'll see if that maintains on Wednesday. Don't forget to check out Wednesday's night, the live before lock we got with Jeff Ulrich and my dude Ben Raza. Good stuff from both of them every single week. Tune into that. JT Poston, I can't even talk about you right now. You make me sad, even though I haven't played him in a while. Probably a good thing. But Finau, we know the iron game has been pretty solid too. 9% to see from Finau. It's been a little spotty. He was in phenomenal form there going into the Mexico Open, beat a field of nobodies besides Rahm, of course. And I guess Wyndham Clark, you look in the rear view, that probably looks a little bit better. But 32nd there at the U.S. Open for Mr. Finau. I'm going to be very curious to see where he, Morikawa, Fleetwood, this entire range is just going completely slept on because everybody feels way more comfortable getting exposure up here. Defending champion, hates all of us right now. Jon Rahm, people are forgetting, did number 2 player in the world and kind of has, 4 wins this year? That seems good. In this, like the calendar year, not even the PGA Tour season year. Rory McIlroy's starting to play phenomenal golf again, and Scheffler is Jesus. So that's cool. Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler. We'll see if he gets steamed up. I think a lot of these guys I'm going to be shorting. Wyndham Clark, nobody's going to play him there, and I think for good reason. Guy wins a major. I guess this is starting to get low enough where you got to maybe roll the dice, but if he's going to end up around 10%, 12%, like I do expect, then cool. But 9,200, I suppose the price tag is mitigating any of the risk there. But my last guy, Matt Fitzpatrick, I'm just going to click on a lot at this kind of ownership. Look at last week. He's gaining tons and gobs with the irons. We just need the driver to cooperate. And once you know it, T9, T20, T17, and driver mitigated here. So cool. I'm going to be taking shots on that one. Max Homa. Is anybody going to click on Max Homa? Anybody going to click on Justin Thomas this week? Can I get any takers? They were doing Instagram Live on Sunday. That must have been fun for them both there in the 8K range. And that's where we start running into some leverage. Theegala, he's starting to, he's not souring on people. He definitely had some decent enough rounds, but I want to see where his ownership gets to because this is starting to be stay away territory. You know I'm a stand for this guy, and we have 7 top 10s on this season, but I think it's just an easy stay away of sorts, don't you? I think it's a pretty easy stay away of sorts here at the moment. I think there's just a lot better available plays in the range. Like, I don't know, Lowry sitting there next to Tom Kim. And this is where I want to talk about this. In golf, which I've played my whole life, followed it my whole life, I am much more interested about consistent play than spiking one round. And this is where I just have a problem with what we are looking at with Tom Kim this week. He played phenomenal on Saturday. Didn't play terrible on Friday or Sunday, and that 73 is the worst of all of them considering the conditions were phenomenal. For him to have his highest round by 4 shots on that Thursday is just a little bit problematic to me. It almost always, when Tom Kim puts himself in contention, revolves around spiking a lot, and I do mean a lot, with the putter. And that's where, hopefully you're able to see this. Hopefully I clicked on that correctly. I'll just click on it one more time in case you were wondering what I was looking at. I think I was on the right section, though. Hopefully. I'm not going back and re-recording. F it, we'll do it live. So Tom Kim, 23.6% ownership. For him to be up there with Russell Henley, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, this is just a pure fade. I will have 0 if it's going to be this popular. I don't know what else to do other than just full fade. It's such a bad play at this kind of ownership. I cheer for him. The irons are really good from time to time, so he does fit the kind of player that I want to get to. He had 7.5 strokes gained approach, gained 3.3 with the putter, but the putter had lost in 4 of 5 coming into that one. And if that flips at all in any way, shape, or form, and he doesn't spike 7.5, which is by far the most that he has gained with the irons in his PGA Tour career, you are looking at massive, massive regression from last week. And that's the name of the game, friends. Sorry to my sim tool if it pops up with Tom Kim here after the fact. Don't ever want to say never, but Tom Kim will be in 0 hand builds. I can throw you that. I can throw you that lifeline for sure. Minwoo Lee also, what are we doing here? There's a weird thing with bombers at this golf course for being such a short track. It's never a bad thing to hit it far. You get a drivable par 4. You get some really fun birdie opportunities. I just expect with this field strength that it's going to play more difficult. You didn't have Tiger showing up here once upon a time, and well, this dude is playing like him, so maybe not all the wins. These two kind of combined, all three of them combined, just it's like a Federer, Djokovic, Nadal type situation more than it is anything else. These three are on another stratosphere. They just are. So then you also get these Victor Hovlands. I suppose he could be like Andy Murray pre-injuries. Any tennis people out there? No? Okay, we're going to continue talking golf then. I want to start talking about some of the most positively leveraged people before we start picking on the negative leverage. Actually, let's start with the negative leverage because I covered a couple of those at the top here. Minwoo, no. This breaks my heart. This breaks my heart to see 17.8% here. Very curious where his optimal percentage is going to come in at, but as it stands right now, the low win percentage, 1.1%, which is underneath Henley. Again, Henley, this is a crazy amount of ownership, but his golf game just fits this place like a glove. Maybe I need to play cash this week so I can actually click on some of these idiots and then I don't have to feel so bad when they torch me in tournaments. But Russell Henley going to be pulling a ton of ownership coming off of great iron play, which he always has. Can we get the putter going for the guy? Well, actually, don't get it going this week because more than likely at 30%, there's no way I'm going to be over the field on something like that in a sport like golf. But similar to last week, there are just some obvious misprices, and I think I know where I'm going to be going here in this 7K range pretty prominently, and it is right here, 7,300 Eric Cole. Once again, the negative leverage, don't read into all these zeros. We got some stuff that we need to fix on our end there, but seeing Shane Lowry 8,200, he'll be a definite target for me in that range. And then Eric Cole, talked about him last week. We were a Sunday away from greatness, Eric Cole. We were a Sunday away. That really, really sucked. Not that we were going to win anything with Eric Cole probably, but would have been nice for the old bankroll. Austin Eckroat, click. People are starting to come on to my boy, and I don't like it. T2, T16. Again, if you had won that Byron Nelson, though, I would have had a full-on meltdown because I had 0, and I normally have a ton of him. Like at the Corrales when I jammed him. A couple of spots where it was really nice to get to him, and then, again, it's just been years coming. It's been years coming. Nice to see Austin Eckroat really put it together on Sunday, win a lot of people some GPPs in Showdown. Must have been fun for you, huh? Wasn't me. Aaron Rye. Oh, God, you might as well just give me all of these guys. Why don't we just group into the 7K range and just take a meandering little walk down because this is fun for everybody, right? 3.2% Aaron Rye, click. 2.6% Seamus Power, click. Ludwig Abur, pulling ownership. People are just stealing my vibes. Don't like it. Brian Harman, 7,500. That's going to be somebody I probably end up clicking on sub 10%. It's not the best play on planet Earth. And yeah, there's negative leverage. But again, this golf course, you have the Kevin Streelmans of the world, which I'll give him a special shout out. Look at this course history. Well, I guess I can't show it to you. I can't show. I should probably stick to the rivers and the streets that I'm used to. Rivers and the lakes. Where's he at? Phenomena. Kevin Streelman. Positive leverage. 4.5% optimal percentage at 0.5%. 6,800. Click. Really great course history. And I don't normally buy a ton into course history. Otherwise, nobody would click on these guys. They're Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm. Neither of them finished in the top 25. In fact, Patrick Cantley, he's had 5 consecutive top 15s without a top 10. Do you know how hard that is to do? It's really hard to do. It's good golf, but also, if you told me he finished T12, I wouldn't want him this week because, well, you're going to run into a lot of problems there. But 7K range, Eckroat pulling all the ownership, disturbing how many people coming on board my guy. I'll be pivoting to some KH Lee. I'll be pivoting to some Eric Cole in bulk. We're talking putter and iron combination right now. Seems like the combination you want here on this little goat track. It's not a goat track. It's a great golf course. I didn't mean to besmirch it, but here we go. Back to Sepp Straka we go. 7,100. Hurt me again. Brandon Wu, God, I love this range. Bo Hostler, I'm going to have a ton of. My God. 7,100 to 7,500. I'm going to click on a lot of names, and nobody appears to be doing that because they're all going up here. Let's round it out with Tom Kim, fade. Siwoo Kim, I hate it, but going to probably be a fade at that number 2. And Russell Henley, good golly, Miss Molly. It's wild. Now you're going to get the Corey Connors. Harris English coming off of another box score watcher delight. Look at everybody. You're sick. You make me sick. Sick people. He's had some other good tournaments with some missed cuts. How about an MC from Harris English? That would feel good, I think. So that ownership, him, Minwoo Lee. So I'm going to be avoiding this. I'm going to be getting down to this, and it's going to be difficult, but Sam Bennett, 7K. I expect this ownership to come up, and if it doesn't, I'm really nervous about how much I end up with. Talked about him multiple times last week. Ended up playing him in single entry. Didn't matter. I got toasted. Sam Bennett, he was 6,500. Why is it not showing the salary on the end? That sucks. Either way, thanks, bud. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate you. 79 there. One bad round does not a golfer make. He's got the confidence. Strokes gain confidence. Also not a bomber. I think this golf course should suit him very, very nicely there at 7K. And last guy, Michael Bjornsson, I think he'll get steamed up just because, well, he finished 4th here last year. I don't give a flying you know what. No, thank you. Unless he's going to be 0.2% owned, in which case I'm a sick person. Again, 150, going to be a little bit different than building for single entry this week, which leads me to hitting that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Kevin, you crank that soul. Hey, what? 6.1%. Going to be fun there. Davis Thompson. People forgot about Davis Thompson. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say. Oh yeah, he's playing absolutely atrociously. That's a bummer. There were times, like, I don't know, that at the American Express, the Bulldog, I believe, Davis Thompson, I'll cheer for him from the sidelines. And actually, I won't because I probably won't play him. It's a bummer. Nobody pulling any ownership in the 6K range. So you have fun. Ben Griffin, going to be there for me. Going to be getting to a little bit of Harry Hall along with everybody else. Webb Simpson, no ownership. Sam Stevens, we can run that one back from the U.S. Open too. Another guy to take a little gander at. So many great plays, though. Low 70, 71, 72, 7,300. I'm obsessed with this range. You should be too. You could play the ownership game. Benny on. Matt Kuchar, never really play Matt Kuchar. Probably going to play a little bit this week if he's going to be 3.5%. Jaeger Bombs, we got 1.8%. God, so many great opportunities. Just don't play this upper 7K chalk for the love of all that's good and righteous. And Adam Scott. Too much ownership, friends. All right, this was a fun one, mainly because we're just moving ourselves along, trying to get you some ideas about how to go about building your lineups. I'm going to start this week's build. I think in single entry, it's scary to be fading the entire 10K range. So you got to click on a name. If Rory is going to be the lowest owned out of everybody, I'll click on him. But I'm going to click on Rahm for now, and I'll leave $100 left over. And I will just play the ownership game between Rahm and Rory. They're both playing fantastic. You can't look at Rahm and say this still isn't good. T16 at the Memorial, T10 at the U.S. Open. Putting contest, Rory putted better than people think he did at the U.S. Open. He gained strokes, just throwing it out there. I know Sunday wasn't perfect, but people and their hyperbole. This is obviously very good too, but I'm going to just play the ownership game and leave the 100 left over for all of my people. Colin Morikawa click, easiest click ever. Give me the iron player. Everybody freaking out about his back. You're all dramatic, which is ironic coming from me. Colin Morikawa click. He grew up couple blocks from my wife too. Shout out locking you out of Flint Ridge. Good people. We make our way downtown, walking fast, faces past and homebound. Matt Fitzpatrick, 9K. Going to be tough to make him work, but we do have a lot of those 7K players that we like. So gets a little bit interesting here for me. And this is where Shane Lowry, I think he's going to be a buy for me. You're going to see Tom Kim pull all that ownership. You're going to see perhaps Thiegele pull ownership here, even though I'm still not quite positive on that. See, woo! Shout out to you-know-who. Great people, great things, and Russell Henley, all of them pulling the ownership. I'm going to go for the sneaky little Shane Lowry here. I think we're ramping up 12.1% iron short game combination. That's always a fun one too. What did he do at the US Open as well? I got to double check this. These are important things to double check. Yeah, 20th at the US Open, 16th the Memorial, 12th at the PGA. So 3 top 20s in his last 4 events, 43rd at the RBC. He lost with the putter, but he's been positive with the putter in the other 3 of those. That's probably why he finished decently well there. All right, and then it's just such an easy click. We've got Eric Cole. If he's going to be pulling less ownership than Austin Eckroat, I'll make that pull. I want to click on both of them, but that's probably not feasible. We shall see. And yes, Sepp Straka is back in my life. 7K, Sam Bennett. That is going to be my single entry here for sure. JT Poston. I know he's got positive leverage. We'll take a nice gander at him as well. But I'm happy to get to either one of Eckroat or Cole. Again, just going to be playing a lot of ownership game between some of my guys, but this is a foundational little starting spot. Rahm, Morikawa, and Lowry. If you want to get yourself to Rory, fine with that. If you want to get to Scheffler, I think you could play 4 in this range pretty easily. Auburn, Rye, Cole, 71. So many great types of configurations. Probably want to get to the Lowry, though. I think that I just feel a little bit more secure having 3 guys that are kind of studs there. Lowry, look at the win percentage. 1.4% win percentage, 10.2% in terms of top 6 percentage. It's a pretty good number, 10.2%. Lowry, not a lot of players at his tag above him. Tom Kim, the only one, in fact. So yeah, Shane Lowry going to be a foundational piece for me. Best of luck. Best of luck to all of you. It's an elevated event. We get all the guys from last week back into the fray for this week. They're going to make gobs of money. Victor Hovland, just back the truck up. Good stuff, my friends. But I will be back next week to break down God knows what golf tournament. It's about to get a little bit sketchy here it'll be fine. I can't wait for the Open Championship, though. Once you have a major, you kind of want all the majors at once. This has a major field. Shout out Connecticut. Enjoy your golf tournament at the Travelers. Until next time, for sure. I'm Eric Lindquist. Rainmakers, check them out. Live before lock tomorrow. Check it out on Wednesday. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the PGA streets at the Travelers Championship. TBC River Highlands.